Marco Palau in the house.
What's up, Professor?
Thanks for coming up, brother.
Thank you.
Kids coach at Legacy,
Yeah.
adult
Teach the adults.
BJJ, kids BJJ,
Yep.
living the jiu-jitsu lifestyle.
Yeah, super fun lifestyle.
Watched you lose a lot of weight over these years.
I did.
Super proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Giving back now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We always have good talks at 11 o'clock espresso break.
Yes.
Talking about life and philosophizing.
I mean, yeah, we have a little podcast every day, you know. But yeah.
And I learn all these different things about you, like you going to film school.
Went to film school. Went to a couple of them, and yeah.
Did you grow up here in you grew up here, right? In
I grew up
the
here.
area?
Yeah, I was born here in Burbank, and then I grew up in North Hollywood, and then I went to schools in different parts of the valley.
Mm.
So, yeah, I grew up with all different types of valley folk.
What are some of the schools you went to?
I went to
Different high schools, right?
No, I went to one high school.
Okay.
But I went to elementary school in like North Hollywood, and then I went to middle school in Sherman Oaks.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to high school out in Lake Balboa, that Van Nuys area.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So like,
Why'd you guys move around so much?
My mom wanted me to stick to hang out with my friends and just kind of, so I didn't have to like separate from like my friends that I was growing up with.
Okay.
Yeah. And then high school, I wanted to play football. So I went to a good like football high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah. Yeah, it's out in Lake Balboa. They're a pretty good football school.
You played football?
Yeah, I played
during
football.
high school? I didn't know that.
Football and baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. I hated football, but
that's why you have a good wind-up with the gauntlet. You and Anthony.
Yeah.
You and Anthony. You got the swing down.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The technique, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good. And then, yeah, so towards the end of, like, high school, I got real sick from, like, between the ages of, like, 15 and 17. I had, like, a weird, like, liver infection. So I had to, like, technically drop out and just go to homeschooling while I was getting better.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My liver swelled up to the size of a football. So, like, your liver enzymes, the numbers are supposed to be, like, the range is supposed to be between, like, 10 and 40. Mine were at, like, 3,000. Yeah. So
was it an allergic thing, or what was it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
And the doctors never knew.
How did it heal, or how did it get better?
The cool thing about your liver is that it heals itself. So just proper diet, exercise, and just patience, you know, just kind of going through it, getting blood tests done every other day. Yeah, that was my high school.
Is that you gained a lot of weight at that era after that time?
I was still pretty chubby during that time. They were thinking it was like a fatty liver, but I took like ultrasounds and they said it was fine, but they think it was a dietary thing. And then, I just kept gaining weight. I got up to about 345 pounds. Yeah. And then just had to start losing it.
You shared with me too, like your mom and your dad. Your dad was a chef, right? You're
dad
half Argentinian?
I'm half Argentinian, half Mexican, yeah. And, my dad was a chef. He owned a couple restaurants, growing up. And he was just...
here in L.A.?
Here in L.A. Like, he had a place in Chatsworth. Yeah, it's called Sergio's. It was named after my brother. Yeah.
What kind of food is it?
Italian food. Yeah. It's pretty good, from what I remember.
How did he end up moving to the U.S. and all that?
That I never really understood. Like, I never knew. I just, just a product of him. But, my mom came over here from Mexico, my dad from Argentina, and they met here in Los Angeles, fell in love, had a bunch of kids,
How many brothers and sisters?
I have one brother and two sisters. Yeah, they're all older than me, like significantly. Yeah, my sisters
So
are...
the baby.
Yeah, I'm the super baby. My sisters are like in their 50s already. My brother's going to be 40 this year. Yeah, so there's like a huge gap between us. Almost like different generations within the same generation.
Yeah. What I like, you chose like this jiu-jitsu, like a healthy lifestyle, right? And I always just find it interesting, like the whys and things, Yeah. And you always share with me like the story of your dad,
Yeah.
Him being always stressed out and
Yeah,
and
well, like
what happened to him, you know?
his diet and, you know, his
Him,
habits.
him passing, right,
Yeah.
from stress.
Yeah, it was mostly stress, and he was a smoker, but I'm pretty sure that was stress induced.
For sure.
His diet was very Argentinian. It was just all steak, red meat every day. He never liked chicken. You know.
Do you like red meat?
I love red meat.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I do well with it.
Yeah. I try not to eat it so much,
Mm-hmm.
just to give my digestive tract a break every now and then. But yeah, he ate that shit every day until it caught up to him.
What?
Yeah.
He died of a heart attack?
No, he had a stroke.
Stroke.
And evidently he had like a couple of them, and he just woke up one day and he was just like, my hand feels weird for about a couple of weeks. Then he finally went to a doctor, and the doctor says you have like lesions in your brain that show that you had a stroke. And yeah.
And then what happened after that? Then he wasn't the same?
He wasn't the same after that. He had like a couple of small ones that started to affect his speech, which is a funny like way of like how I learned how to read and write in Spanish, because to help him start to speak again, I would help him read the Spanish newspaper every day.
How old were you at the time?
11 or 12.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, like for between the ages of 10 to 12. Like he died when I was 12.
You saw his like regression.
Yeah, he started to just sort of slip away little by little. And when he started to feel a little healthier, he was like, I got to go to Argentina. I got to go home and, you know, see everybody. And, yeah, he had his farewell tour out there, pretty much.
You guys stayed here in L.A.?
Yeah, we stayed out here. We were waiting for him. And then, yeah.
He never came back.
He had an aneurysm towards the end. And then he just sort of slipped away.
What happened to his restaurants?
He sold them before
Okay.
he left. When he had the stroke, he's like, fuck this, I'm going to retire, you know? Yeah, he didn't want to work anymore. I mean, he clearly couldn't. Yeah.
You're capable of a lot of things, you know, like you said you went to you have 2 degrees?
Yeah, I went to 2 film schools.
Okay.
I have one, technically. The first one, when I got that degree, it was an unaccredited school.
Okay.
And, yeah, they just became accredited about a year after I left.
Okay.
So I went to another one, the LA Film School out in Hollywood.
Okay.
And I just went there and started to study. Really loved lighting,
Mm.
you know. And then I got really good at writing.
Right. Hopefully we can we get a Legacy TV show script.
Yeah.
Or you did one episode.
I did one episode. I'm working on more, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to see
This
that.
whole COVID thing made it a little weird.
You gotta do a quarantine episode for sure.
Yeah, a pandemic episode.
Pandemic episode.
Speakeasy Jiu-Jitsu.
You got the
The
Fight Club,
works.
the Fight Club 2020 shirt on.
Yeah.
Representative of
For sure, man.
our speakeasy times.
Oh yeah. What's the password? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we had to do something.
So, you know, like, you know, you went to film school. Why didn't you pursue it? Why didn't you?
I tried really hard. It was one of those industries where you had to know somebody or somebody had to know you. And then, you know, I just sort of fell out of it. I started working for free a lot. And then it was just too much. I couldn't afford to work for free because I was getting older and older. And then I started working in catering.
Right.
As a bartender. And like I started doing the whole mixology thing. And then I got really good at that. And I started to learn how to throw and organize all these parties. And yeah. And then little by little, I just started getting fatter and fatter with all the fine dining until I needed some jiu-jitsu.
You're at 300 and
345.
345.
Yeah. Gained a lot of weight. And then when I lost some weight.
What made
you
tell me the story of why you're like, man, I gotta do something. Tell the story.
Well,
come on.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Oh no, I'll tell it. I'll throw that into the internet.
It's funny seeing you being shy because you always speak your mind.
Oh yeah. I'm very outspoken. Well, there was this girl that I really liked, and I finally got the courage to ask her out, and evidently she liked me back, even though I looked super gross. And we started going out and dating, and then started hanging out, and then finally got the opportunity to have sex with her. And when I did it, I was so out of breath and just so gross. After that one night, I never spoke to her again.
You're embarrassed.
I was so embarrassed. And yeah, evidently she didn't have a good time either because she found somebody else like that. But yeah, that was the last straw, you know. Finally worked up the courage for something.
How'd you feel? How'd you feel after? What were you thinking like that week after?
Oh, that week after,
that episode.
I was like, man, that was so gross. I can only imagine me just sweating profusely on her and breathing heavily. But yeah, those were a solid 2 minutes for me, you know.
You're like, I never want to feel like that
but
again.
I never want to do that again. Yeah. So
And then then what happened?
I started to eat less. I put the fork down. I started going for walks. I saw some guy on TV. He was doing yoga, and he ended up losing a bunch of weight doing yoga. So I figured that was easy, being somebody lazy. And then I started doing yoga, and that's super hard work, you know. But I continued it because it was just really nice. I liked getting the flexibility and working that out. And then, yeah, I did like a juice fast for 30 days, and I lost about 25 pounds doing that.
How'd you find jiu-jitsu?
I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with Joey Diaz. Yeah, and he was talking about this place in Burbank, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's try it.
He's giving a shout out to Legacy.
Yeah, he was giving a shout out to Legacy. And then I came in, I met you. You gave me this super heavy, like A5 Gracie Baja gi on my first day. And then after that, I felt something. I was like, this is super necessary in my life after that first day.
How much did you weigh when you walked in the first time?
I was walking in at 300.
300, yeah.
Yeah. About 2.
So you lost a little bit of
240,
weight,
yeah.
so you could move a little bit better. But
Yeah,
you're
just-
still, I remember you were really big
Oh,
at
yeah,
the time.
little by little. And then, yeah, I just got in, and then I bought a gi that was a size A6 from just some, like, martial arts supplier out in Hollywood. And the first day I got it, my first squat, my pants ripped. And everybody behind me started laughing. But I just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you train, you train almost every day.
Train every day. Yeah.
Train every day. You live it. You give back. You help the kids, adults.
Yeah. I try to do everything I
Looking
can.
good.
to keep people
Now,
coming
and
in.
one of the memories I have of the pandemic and the lockdown, it was just seeing you gain some weight, you know, just seeing so pissed because you feel so confident you're wearing like tights and stuff around, you know.
I was
And I was like, not
sexy legs
not
in
home,
town,
you know. Not home. I'm like, hey, looking good, Marco,
Yeah.
looking good. I'm like super proud,
And
you know,
then I
because
came back
you're
and-
looking good, man. You're like a big dude,
Yeah.
and you're like, and you're looking like good, man. You
And then
know,
I came back after that month of quarantine.
you gained
and
like
you're
I don't know,
"Where's-"
man, like 30 pounds.
I gained the COVID 20. Yeah,
20, okay,
for sure.
okay, but that was like in a month, you
Yeah,
know.
in a month. I was just eating a
Man.
bunch of salt, not drinking enough
Yeah,
water.
not
Just
moving.
straight off. Yeah.
Everybody has anxiety and like, you
It
know,
was
kind
a
of
s-
sad, you
that
know,
was a
sadness.
scary month. Yeah. Because, I mean, you listen to the news and they made it seem like this could be the end of mankind.
Right?
And then, lo and behold, kind of full of shit. You know, it was just like a crazy wave of intensity and fear. And then
I went
now
to the
we're kinda
dentist.
the end of that.
When was it? Last week, and they had the news. I don't watch the news because it's just, you know, it gets me in a, you know, bad state of mind.
Yeah.
And it was on, you know, so I watched it, and it was just like fear, like for an hour.
Oh yeah.
And so like it starts to
And they
brainwash
repeat
you.
everything.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. They're still reporting things that they reported last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Numbers, deaths, you know, this, that, you know, we don't know. Maybe,
Oh yeah.
could be,
Yeah, that's the language.
could
of the
be,
news,
right? Could
Could be,
be,
possibly,
possibly,
maybe.
right?
And you just see people, especially like my mom, who's 74 years old. She's terrified of this, but like she has no underlying health issues. She's got pretty good immune system. She walks or jogs 3 miles a day. You know, she's fine, but she sits there and listens to the news,
Right.
and she's just
Like my mom too.
such a stress-induced environment to
Right.
just stay home and just huddle up.
I feel like it's like criminal, you know, what's happening with the news and what they're kind of brainwashing
Yeah.
people with, you
Well,
know?
that and like the real problem, the real pandemic was just like this wave of information,
Right,
like from both sides, and it just divided everybody.
right. You see that meme that Joe Rogan posted about the girl from Ozark, you know, the blonde girl that in Ozark, and she says in the show a lot, like, I don't know shit about fuck or something like that. You know?
Yeah, the WHO.
Yeah, and so the meme was like he's like, I didn't write this, but you know, I laughed when I saw it. The WHO and CDC. And then the girl saying, like, I don't know shit about fuck.
Yeah, like the only information that I was getting out of like coronavirus to just see if it was getting better.
They're the experts, right?
Or like, well,
they know, right?
They're
supposed to be, right?
Yeah. But then again, they only tell you the problem. They don't tell you how to prevent.
Could be, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe you'll die today. Maybe you'll die tomorrow.
Well, when
maybe.
it started, they were just like,
we didn't know, right? We had to be very, very careful.
It's not contagious. You'll be fine. Oh, you have to be really close to a person to contract.
You don't have to wear a mask.
You don't have to
wear
a
mask.
Now you do. You'll be fine. Yeah. But there's just so much information. But like the only information I was going off of was like how intense the signs on the freeway were. So like they
stay
went
home,
from
save
like,
lives.
Yeah, they went from washing your hands, avoid social distancing or whatever, and then to just stay home. And then as soon as that started to lighten up, I was like, okay, not so bad.
I told you a little bit about my dad, right? This last week we finally got him out of the hospital.
Oh, nice.
Right? So a couple days ago, actually. And if it wasn't for like the chief of staff and the doctors at the VA hospital, man, he would have died, you know?
Oh, for sure. It would have just been neglect.
Yeah, and so he got COVID once, right? And then, once. And then so he's been on lockdown, so he hasn't been able to see us. So of course he's sad.
Yeah.
And then he gets it once, and then they take him to the COVID area, right? And they touch him with a 10-foot pole and all that, you know. And he has some dementia, so he's not really understanding where he's at.
Oh, that must have been terrifying.
And then test negative, you know, after whatever the time, and then he just had a cough and a little fever, right? And then they take him to another area, and then after another couple weeks or another week, he tests positive again. So he tests negative, and then he tests positive again. And then the same thing all over again, you know. And they lost his hearing aids. They lost
coronavirus.
They lost his hearing aids. They lost his glasses. You know, it was a mess. You know, really. You know, and then after that, we tested negative. They got him in a nice room in the VA. You know, and me and my sister. At this point, he's got an infection, like a urinary and blood infection, and they're talking about open heart surgery. And he's super weak. He's he can't walk, and now he's bedridden. But he was at that point, he was still in a wheelchair and able to eat and, you know, use his hands. And he stopped eating, you know. So they had to put a tube in his nose and all that. Whoa, and they're talking about open heart surgery. And me and my sister were just so persistent to be like, we got, you know, we have to see him. And luckily they did the right thing, I think, just because it was the VA hospital, God bless America. Yeah.
Like open heart
no, not that. No. They were like amazing, man. They were amazing, you know. But I think if it would have been anybody else, like he would have been, you know, he would have passed, you know.
Oh, for sure.
And they would have labeled it another COVID death, right?
Yeah.
And so then it's funny, right? Last week I went to go get him, you know, or to go visit him because the next day we were gonna take him home, you know, and he tested positive again. So he tested positive 3 times. I was so upset, and I started to lose it, and the nurses and they, you know, and luckily then the doctor came, and man, they're amazing, man, they're amazing. I'm so grateful for the VA, of them taking care of taking care of him. You know, they saved his life, for sure. And then, you know, we were able to get him out this week, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And so he's gonna be okay, and you know, he's happy, and you know, just like dignity and respect. You know, like so many parents are dying,
for sure,
and the kids can't see them. They can't see their families, you know. And so who knows what's going on, you know? Who knows what's going on?
That's the thing, you know. It's just
like my, you know, wife's cousin's grandma passed. Like she had some breathing thing. They put her on a respirator and she passed, and they're labeling it a COVID. But who knows what's going on? You know, it's really crazy, crazy times.
They're labeling everything COVID, and I think it's for.
But it's like you go to the hospital and then that's it. You know, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
you know?
Whatever underlying
straight up, I don't know if, you know,
condition you have, even if you go in because you have, you know,
so I just know my experience, you know, and that was crazy. Straight up murdering, you know, they would have murdered him, you know.
Yeah.
For me, that's how I look at it, you know.
Just to increase the budget and, you know, just
you know, for whatever reason, but luckily the VA was there, you know, and they were able to save the day, you know. But like, it's unbelievable, you know, what's going on, you know, You know, flatten the curve, right? And then also protect the elderly was the second thing, right? Of course, you know.
Yeah, that's
that risk, right?
That's what the whole lockdown.
But if you go to the hospital for anything, I would, man.
That was the last
That's
place
scary.
I wanted to go.
That's scary. That's scary.
Well, because even in the beginning of the quarantine, they weren't admitting people into hospitals. Like, they were empty, right?
Because they were supposed to be overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
And
and
it's dangerous, right?
Like 21,000 hospital workers.
No, I mean, it was so bad, right? They're losing their jobs now, right? Because they never got the wave, right? Oh, a second wave is coming. There was never a first wave.
No, I don't know. It's just.
And I was just watching the news now because I had to go when we're speaking of the dentist, right? I had to because they weren't essential, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I had to get extra work, you know. I had to get a damn root canal.
Yeah.
And so I had to go again today, and sure enough, the health department person, right, is like talking about the numbers, right, of the deaths and everything, and LA is higher, and
I had to get a tooth removed that I cracked 3 months ago.
You can get an appointment, right?
I couldn't get any
One,
appointment.
and then two. Yeah, it was just just crazy. So mine thing too. Like I didn't have to get to that point, but it wasn't essential.
It was
I
to
guess.
the point where my mom had to make the appointment because she's like, "Look, you answered the phone. You know, I know you're open. Just get us an appointment."
Yeah. Crazy times.
It's nuts.
But luckily, the gym's open now.
Super happy about that.
We're healthy.
Yeah.
We're alive, right? Your family's alive.
Yep. We survived.
We're surviving, you know, survived. And life goes on, right?
Yeah. I mean, how much of the quarantining were you doing? Were you going out? Were you staying in pretty?
I mean, I was able to come to the gym, but I was pretty strict that first month because we didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
So I was very, very strict. I was very we did the Zoom classes, you know, and I just saw a few people, you know. I was, you know, even the kids, I was really I wanted to make sure just because I wasn't sure, you know.
Oh, for sure.
But then after a month, kind of you see, because we didn't know, you kind of see, and then more information comes out, and then they keep extending the lockdown, right? First it was it 2 weeks? I mean, I thought it was going to be a month, right?
Yeah.
But then that sounded about right.
When you first close it down, you're like, oh, we're gonna play it by ear. I'm just gonna close it down for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks turn into a month.
And then 2 months, and you're like, you're right, you know.
Yeah.
What is that going to change? What is that going to change, right? And what are you going to for a year? And then how about it's still there?
Yeah.
And if you're gonna the herd immunity or whatever side you're on, I don't want to even discuss it, you know. But I mean, you can't just be hiding out. Life's too short, right?
Oh no, for sure. I mean, at what point are you just gonna sit there and tolerate this? You know, because it's a matter of patience and tolerance, which is essentially the same thing. But you're gonna give this person a certain amount of time because they're an elected official. And then at one point, is that just going to run out? Are you going to run out and just sort of submit and say, I got to do what the man tells me to do?
Yeah.
Or are you going to take fucking control of your life?
Yeah.
And that's where that divide was for that quarantine.
Yeah, they're talking about these COVID deaths, right? If they're even real, right?
Yeah.
The COVID, not that COVID isn't real, but and then because they get money, right? When it's a COVID death, and also the ventilators and all that. Well, and that supposedly some people say that they're killing the people, right?
Well, maybe
who knows, you know? But the fact that that's a thing, right?
Yeah. Well, the ventilators for sure.
The ventilators are
it
saying
makes your body lazy.
The ventilators,
on something else.
And then they drug people up so much, right? That they don't feel it, and they
then
can't.
When you start to show improvement because of the ventilator, and they take people off of them, your body creates that dependency, and it just sort of gives up.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. It was one of those weird things where even doctors had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, but just after that long, right? I mean, eventually, it's still going to be there, right? So we can't be staying at home.
I understood the risks.
Right.
I'm an asthmatic,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I'm fat. So at what point am I just gonna sit there and say, you know, you got to roll the dice?
Yeah.
You know, you roll the dice every day, whether there's a pandemic or not.
Yeah.
You know, you still get in your car, you turn it on.
Yeah.
It's statistically higher to die from, you know, driving over here to work out.
And I did the podcast with Coach Dan, you know, Australia, and I fell down the stairs. Did I tell you that? Yeah, this is last week. I fell down the stairs. You believe that?
And you would have died of coronavirus.
So,
you know? Something bad would happen.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to him, and I have those flip flops, and I always kind of trip on them for some reason because they don't fit me. They're like because my feet are really wide and they're kind of small. Anyway, I was talking to him, and I had a coconut water in my hand. So I could have dropped the coconut water and grabbed the railing, but I didn't want to drop the coconut water.
Up, yeah.
And so I didn't think I was gonna fall head first down from the top of the stairs all the way down.
Holy shit!
And so I just went on instinct, and I kind of did a kind of a break fall, and then I went down the stairs, boom, 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 boom. But and then my head, whatever, the way I hit, everything was kind of perfect in a way. I just got like a little scratch on my elbow and a little scratch on my ankle.
Dan must have shit his pants.
Yeah, and we was like, "You okay? Oh my god, I'm okay. Oh, I don't know if I was gonna be okay, I was like, oh, I'm okay, And I actually like when I think about it, I was like, it was a perfect, like it was a clean thing, and I kept the coconut water. I was kind of some of the water splashed out when I was like going down the stairs, boom, 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 boom. But I saved it, and I drank it after.
Yeah, it must have tasted sweeter.
Oh my god, the guys were laughing, and like Coach Andy was like, "What was that noise?" Yeah. He's like, that coconut water is $5. It's expensive.
You know what? Yeah, for sure.
Unbelievable, right? Like that. It's crazy, man. But just life's short, right? You don't know. Anything can happen.
Yeah, you never know.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. Like even then,
that was an example. I could have, anything could happen.
Speakeasy, if like people were rubbing hand sanitizer all over themselves after, rolling. And I'm like, don't do that because that's really bad for your immune system. You're still more likely to catch staph infection.
Right, something else, yeah.
Which I'd rather have coronavirus than staph infection. Because if that turns into MRSA, then you're for sure going to die of coronavirus, But
there's things that are worse than that, from the numbers and what experts are saying.
Going to the hospital was worse. Because even hospitals and
everybody
officials were saying, if you have it, just stay home.
Yeah, I mean, the first podcast that I did with the doctor, he was on the advisor for the pandemic.
Yeah,
he was telling me the what's it called? Hydrochloride. What's it called?
Hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah, that one. So he's telling me, it seems to do the trick, right? And then I did the second one after, because I tested positive for the antibodies and all that, and we were just discussing it. And he's like, but they're not sure now. But now, like, it actually does work.
That's just like the flood of information.
Right. Right. But he's he's an ER doctor, and they have no cases in Hawaii,
but like they're still dealing with that shit too, because there's so much information going on.
Right, for sure. Being
traded amongst doctors around the world because of technology.
For sure.
So it's like,
I don't want to judge, like, God bless, everybody, but it's crazy times, man, just the elderly, like just me dealing with my dad. I'm super like, on edge, a little bit, for anybody to say like anything, it's like criminal, what's going on.
I mean, you still have to give,
people are passing and like the caskets are closed, they're bolted shut. Like why isn't it not an open casket?
Really?
If you're like Catholic and you're that, like, man, you have open caskets,
No shit. I did not know.
Yeah, that. Man, people's dads and moms, and it's like closed caskets. What is going on? Is it even them, right? I don't know. I'm just saying,
That's crazy. That's interesting. As if it were like, Chernobyl.
That's because it's not safe,
Yeah, but still, like, I'm sure it can't live inside a dead body, especially after it's been processed through, like, embalming and all that stuff. But who knows?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know I'm team human, and I know I'm team people. And I know it's almost like divide and conquer in a way, right? Not to go too much, get all like, because it's like a political thing almost in a way, all this stuff. It's
becoming that, yeah.
I'm team human. I just want people to be happy and healthy.
Yeah.
So at this point, like I was able to, keep us, I'm doing my best, and we're doing our best,
Yeah.
to do as much as we can, checking people's temperatures and COVID waivers and
now that it's the end
checklists.
Of the first wave, it's like, did we overreact or did we follow the right procedures? Or, did the internet kind of make it worse and just create some sort of hysteria that stopped the world? Because everybody got information at the same exact time. So,
do you think it's going to go away? Election time? November? December just goes away?
It depends.
We'll see, right? Depends who wins. Right?
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. They both sides seem to really love control.
Yeah. I'm just team human, team community. I just want us to be healthy, you know. Like, I mean, that's my motivation every day, to see you guys like be your best, do your best, you know. And all this stuff is like sadness and disappointment. So
well,
I want this place to be a good place.
See people collectively just take charge of their lives.
Yeah.
You know, that's what was super. That was a beautiful thing to see. Like the first day.
Yeah.
You know, having 30 plus people in my class, just seeing them, just Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Because people we have to understand the risk.
Yeah. People are taking action, right? They want to be healthy. They want to be happy.
Flu. Spanish flu was killing 20 and 30-year-olds, and they were still like, fuck it, we got to get to work. We got a war to get ready for, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Crazy times, man.
So weird.
One day at a time, right? One day at a time.
What a crazy year. You know, everyone sits there and they say they hate 2020, but if you kind of take yourself out of it and look at it, this is a pretty cool movie. You know, who knows what's going to happen next?
People keep telling me about the is it Westworld and Black Mirror?
Yeah,
on Netflix.
Yeah, I told Drew the other day through like instant messaging. I was like, 2020 is like a weird, one of those crazy Netflix documentaries, and we're on episode 4. You know, we're glued. And like, who knows what's going to happen next? I hear Hillary's going to testify in September. You know, that's going to be good information. It's going to be fun. And then maybe COVID too. The sequel. I don't know.
We'll see.
After the election.
Yeah. Sorry, we got COVID sidetracked. Let's go back to you. So, what motivates you? What motivated you to, you know, because you were catering, you're doing some other jobs, and little by little, like jiu-jitsu started to like pull you in more and more and more. You started to get the bug, you know. Well, you trained yourself, you know, and then now you're teaching, and you're, you know, getting more and more.
What kept me like working out?
Not working out, but obviously you felt better, right? And you started to, you know, you lost weight, you started doing better. Like, of course, like the social aspect, but now you teach and stuff, and you give back from like little kids, from little babies to, you know, to the adults and stuff.
I think in the beginning,
what pulled you in that direction, and what motivates you to keep going? You know, like, and you know. I just go on instinct with people, and like, you know, that's like what you want to do. For sure,
it was the family aspect of just being around people, and like you start to see people every day, and you want to see everybody every day, you know, and then you want to keep training. That and starting to feel like the change in my body, you know, because I was pretty I was heavily asthmatic, you know, so. Little by little, working out every day, I started to kind of reverse that. And every day I would have to hit the inhaler less and less. And like you saw that. You saw me run off the mat every time, like I gotta go. And now I don't even use it. I have like 3 inhalers in my bag, and they're brand new. Yeah.
You don't use it anymore?
No, I started using them again during the quarantine, like that first month when I stopped training. Yeah, I started getting the shortness of breath. And then I started freaking out, wondering if I had this shit. And then, but it was because I created a dependency on it again.
Did you watch the Cobra Kai shows?
I did.
On YouTube? You did or didn't?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, they're fun.
Do you remember the part where he smashes he throws it in the trash against the wall, the inhaler?
Yeah.
He's like, I have asthma. And he grabs it and he throws it against the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, but, you know, I wouldn't do that to any of my students.
What did you feel? Did you think part of it was right, though, to do that?
Oh, for sure.
You got it?
You have to make that decision yourself.
Right.
You know?
No, for sure. I'm not saying it was right, but you're like, that's...
But I get it. Yeah, for sure I get it. Because they just want you to keep taking medicine. You know, they want you to spend those $70 a month to, like, you know, keep refilling. Because it doesn't really do anything, like, from my experience. It just kind of stops you for a moment until it starts to happen again. So the only thing you can do is to just sort of like strengthen your lungs and make it better. Just sort of like breathe through it. And that's what jiu-jitsu has helped me with immensely with asthma, is putting myself in those bad positions and start to like manage my stress. Because there's times where I had full-on asthma attacks under people, you know, and I just had to breathe through it. You know, I was like, don't quit, don't tap, see if you can get through this, you know. And then I would just run to the, back and hit my inhaler.
Mm.
But yeah, and then constantly doing that, and then thinking of my dad.
You talk about that a lot with me when we talk on our espresso times.
Yeah, like why I keep working out. I was 11, 12 when he died. Kind of left me hanging. So, if I ever have kids, I don't want to do that to them. And it's not like an angry thing. Like, I understood he was sick, but I want to do everything I can to prevent that. I want to be able to keep up with him,
Play with them.
Yeah, for
Be
sure.
a good example for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What does your mom think about you doing jiu-jitsu?
She thinks I'm crazy. Yeah. She's like, because I do go home and I complain a lot because, I get injured all the time. And, yeah, she's like, oh, this is super unhealthy for your body, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but when your back hurts, you don't really know why your back hurts. Like, I know why my knees hurt, why my back hurts. Yeah.
But what about when you lost all that weight?
Oh, when I lost all that weight, she was ecstatic.
And she sees you now, too, like being healthy.
Well, she sees
you have to be eating better and doing everything better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because, you don't feel good when you don't eat good.
Well, you run a little differently, you know what I mean? It's like putting the cheapest gas in your car. You start to feel the putter as opposed to, like, putting better gas in your car.
How much do you weigh now?
About 245.
Okay, so you lost 100 pounds.
Oh, for sure.
100 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight.
Well, before this bullshit happened, I was already down to like 328, 330. And then I shot up like little by little. When I started teaching, I started training a little less. And then when the lockdown happened, I like went up to like quite a bit.
We said 220, 230? You said 320, I think.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I was like, damn, really? You feel like that sometimes?
Oh, sometimes. Oh, yeah, for sure. But, I was like 230.
Yeah.
And then I gained 10 pounds. And then the lockdown happened. And then I skyrocketed.
I remember that. Yeah, I was pissed.
And then I came in after that month. And you're like, you're getting fat.
Got to keep it real, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I need that.
We all need it.
Yeah. Even
from love, it's from a loving place. Yeah,
for sure, it's from love. Like my mom told me.
Yeah,
she's like, you need to start working out. Don't worry about me. She's like, you're gonna get diabetes before you get coronavirus. Yeah. So that was I had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and like the depression started kicking in. Like I didn't have that outlet to like roll.
Move and stuff.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was trying to do like some tack fit stuff, and then I started hiking a lot, which I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm starting to do that. I'm keeping the hiking. That's fun. You need the vitamin D. You need to be outside.
Yeah.
Just sort of walking out and seeing those views. You for sure need that.
Seeing the people though is so nice, huh?
Oh yeah.
Like talking shit to everybody and making fun of each other and.
Oh yeah. Calling Zach fat is super fun.
Buff Zach, Fluff Zach.
Fluff Zach. Sir Eats a Lot. Yeah. He's got a lot of nicknames. When you
teach, what do you think about what motivates you to give your best class? Because you teach like at nighttime too, right? You teach the 8:30 to 9:30.
What motivates me to teach?
To do a good job.
Seeing people execute whatever I taught during the roles. That's very fulfilling. Yeah. And then just kind of showing people the little details. Because, I'll just run around to every group and just kind of see what's wrong and, just giving them those details and just starting to see people retain this information. It's kind of like a reassurance for me, too. Like, wow, I really know this shit. It's pretty good. Yeah.
You went to film school and all that. So you're like, oh, it's not for me. It's too hard. Is that? The right thing to say? And you started writing, and you are. I'm gonna, you're gonna write the scripts,
sure. Yeah. I just lost it.
Like the passion and the motivation.
Kind of ruined movies for me, for sure. Kind of ruined the whole process of seeing something, knowing how something's made, and knowing the work, and then just kind of being used for.
What made you want to get into that? You loved movies and loved TV?
I love movies, from a young age. it goes back to kind of when my dad died. First thing I did was I went to the movies.
I remember you told me that.
Yeah. And I saw the original Kings of Comedy. That's kind of how I fell in love with stand-up comedy too. Like I never did it, but I just became like a huge nerd because for that moment, you know, when Bernie Mac went up, for that moment, I was like, I forgot about everything. You know, it was like a roller coaster. Just seeing that man make me laugh. It was crazy. Yeah. But what motivated you to start doing jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu. You know, like they had friends in the restaurant that I was working. When I was 18, right after high school. They did jiu-jitsu, and they convinced me. It took them like a few months, but then I did one class, and nothing motivated me to go. They were my friends, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And this little friend of mine, he armbarred me like 10 times.
Yeah. And
the first time I couldn't believe it. I was like, let's go again. And then he did it again, and then he did it again. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I have to learn this, you know?
Yeah.
And so that was the beginning. And then I just felt so good after I trained, you know, more than anything. I hadn't seen the UFCs or
like
anything.
A primitive feeling, right?
Yeah. It made me feel like alive. And I put everything into every training session. I rearranged my whole schedule so I can train. There was only 2 classes a week.
Yeah.
And I put everything into each class, you know, each training. I stayed after. I really tried to learn, you know, and I guess I got bit by the bug, you know.
Well, yeah, for sure.
And so then, and then it just kind of evolved from there. Like my friend Amal Easton, he's a Gracie black belt. He moved down to Brazil, and then he came back, you know, and we started training in his garage every day, and he started sharing with me videos and pictures from Brazil, and then we went to tournaments, and just, you know, I just never looked back, and I just went 1,000% forward and went to Brazil, and then, you know, set goals. And
it's one of those feelings you get when you like first train and you start to see people like on their first days. You start to really feel like, man, I think like as animals, I think we're supposed to do this shit.
For sure. There was like, I think Henzo shared it, you know, just about jiu-jitsu, and like his dad is talking about, you know, it's not from us, it's from, you know, like a higher power, these things, you know, like these Buddhist monks that started this thing, you know, like these martial art jiu-jitsu. It's like so spiritual. Like we have the, you know, Constantine, the monk, you know.
Yeah.
And we have some good conversations, you know. I did a podcast with him, you know, Constantine, right? And just it is, you know, it is like it.
Well, for sure.
Just it makes you better. It gives you energy. Makes you happier, right? Raises the energy level.
It's like a universal thing for sure. I remember Zach. He was living in another place, like out in North Hollywood, and they had a dog and a cat.
Right.
And the dog and the cat were wrestling like all day.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. For sure. Well, I mean, what I love about jiu-jitsu, right, is it's like full on, right? And it's a combat, but yet it's in a safe way, and you don't get brain damage, you know, and you can do it. You can do it every day. And of course I think you need tact fit as well to stay healthy and to keep the longevity of it for the rest of your life, you know?
Yeah.
But it's the perfect thing, you know. And after fighting, you know, professionally, like MMA and all that, like it just makes me appreciate it even more, you know. It is like a higher thing, you know.
Well, that
of humanity
after, you know, rolling.
Yeah.
It's
like taking away all the anxiety, all the nonsense, you know, and you're at peace. Yeah. You're good, you know, nothing. It's all
like
good.
Even this, I thought I was gonna be super nervous because, especially after rolling, like
you are a little nervous because you're all you say how it is, you know. It's kind of funny for me to see that, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is being thrown out into the internet, so you know I gotta mind my P's and Q's.
It's all good, man.
But you know,
good. You're all heart, man. You give everything, you know, and you're training, and I'm proud, man. I'm so proud of you, like. You know, I'm glad to see you like lose the weight, you know. Yeah. Again, from the quarantine time, you know, and kind of get back into it. And
thank you.
You've come a long way, you know, and it makes me really happy to see you guys, you know, kind of give back and kind of spread that message, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I try to as much as I can.
You know, like, you know, losing 100 pounds and like, you know, thinking that, oh, it's impossible. I can never do this or what. I mean, you're an example, man.
Thank you.
You're an example. For everybody, that anybody can do it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like growing up, like even my brother, he was kind of a dick to me when I was a kid, and then I didn't speak.
He's much older.
Yeah, he's gonna be 40 this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
he's much older. He's like
He's 8 years older.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah, and then I didn't speak to him for a while because we got into an argument or a fight.
Stupid stuff.
Dumb
Always,
bullshit,
yeah,
obviously. And then I found out he was training over at a place in Santa Clarita, and then we all hung out, and my brother's a totally different person, you know? Yeah. It's
Jiu-Jitsu makes you a better person, huh?
Yeah. It just sort of levels you out. Yeah, and you start to see it.
What about if the social distancing, the 6 feet, like jiu-jitsu is kind of the opposite
for sure,
of social distancing.
Yeah.
It's like social nearing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just you're breathing in somebody else's face. You know, it's the exact opposite of what they wanted out of this. And yet it's
right. It's like that's like divide and conquer, right?
It's the most healthy thing you can do.
Right, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
What's the silver lining from this whole lockdown? What have you learned? What are you grateful for?
Disconnecting, you know, to stop listening about like people's opinions, especially the internet, just constantly being
learning to disconnect.
Yeah, and just
from people's all these opinions.
Just realizing people are just screaming into this void that is the internet, and just turning that off, man.
And listening to your own gut instinct.
Yeah, and like if you start to listen, what I learned is that if I started to just listen to myself and form my own opinions, and I think everybody's gonna, if they do that too, they start to find themselves in the middle of everything. And you have to have an understanding of both sides. You know, you have to kind of turn off this exclusivity of like, I'm right and you're wrong, and you're stupid for not believing in what I believe in. You know, if you turn that off, and you'll start to find yourself somewhere in the middle.
That's
like
it. Listen.
One side's right.
Right.
The other side's, you know, also right.
Yeah.
You know?
Like we were talking about, my mom has her opinions about things, and like I don't want to discuss with my mom. My mom's my favorite person. Like, you know, it's all good. You know, everybody deserves to have their own opinion about things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but we should also have the ability, the freedom, right, to kind of live your own life.
Everybody deserves the right to have their own opinion, but they don't have the right to shit on somebody else for having a different opinion.
Right.
You know, that's not what this country is about.
Right.
And yet we're adopting that for some reason.
Well, you know, hopefully we don't adopt it, right? And hopefully it stays. I mean, that's what makes us so special, right? That's what makes America great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. What's your silver lining out of this?
My silver lining with the pandemic, the lockdown, I'll give you one. You know, last Saturday they allowed to sit down at a restaurant, you know.
That's nice. I did that.
And I had never appreciated that. I sat at the cafe, the Acai Jungle, right? And I sat down and I called Al Shiny to come down because I had never appreciated a chair so much.
Yeah.
Sitting at a restaurant and just, you know, getting food brought to me, and it was like I never appreciated it.
I never ate in my car so much, you know? Like going out and like appreciating
little things, right? Like me giving you a hug, man, you know?
Yeah. I did
me shaking your hand.
Yeah.
I know we did, you know, but you know, just to have that, man, just, you know, like the connection, you know?
Yeah.
And it was almost like it was almost like kind of taken away. Well, it's still a lot of people are like that, you know, you don't know, right? Who's going to react to what?
Yeah, that was there was a guy who came in here the other day who owns like one of the kung fu schools down the street, and he was like, "Oh, I heard you guys started opening up," and he saw the COVID waivers and all that stuff, and he's like, "Can I take a couple?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," just to like, you know, I was like, "Open up, you know, do your thing," and he tried to shake my hand, and then he kind of retracted, and I was like, "Dude, shake my hand, you know, don't worry, open up, enjoy life."
Yeah, it's all good. You know, everybody's on their own path, you know.
Yeah, it's just that uncertainty. That's what we need to shake off.
Right.
You know.
Right. Well, you make your choice, right? Like you're listening to yourself, so you're thinking of like shutting all the voices, but listening to your own voice, right?
Yeah.
Within is, I think that's all we can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Heroes of yours, people that you've really looked up to that have helped you in your life. You know, like when I first met you, you had a Joey Diaz patch. You know,
I did,
and he's still one of your favorite people.
He's
one
of my favorite people. Like you know, like even getting to know him and knowing him, like even more. You know,
Yeah. What a good guy. Good person.
And funny.
Funny.
You know?
Oh my God.
So funny.
The stuff that comes out of us.
Like when he was just on the Joe Rogan podcast, it was just one of the funniest things. Like funnier than most of the things I've ever heard.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then just getting to know him and just seeing that he was that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom's a big
Why?
hero. She just had to put on both shoes. She was my mom and my dad. Yeah. She just did everything. Jiu-jitsu wise, you.
Thanks, man.
For sure. You for sure. I'm still my favorite jiu-jitsu practitioner. I got to have one fan.
Like it should be, yeah. I'm your fan. You got two.
Thank you.
At least.
Yeah. See, now I got people to motivate, Not a whole lot of heroes. I got to like watch after myself and just kind of keep going. I got to be my own fan. That's what it is. I got to keep pushing for me. Yeah.
Where would you like to be in, I don't know, 3? I always ask that to people. Like, where would you like to see yourself in, I don't know, a few years, 3, 5 years?
I mean, ultimately the outcome is I want to have my own gym.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to have my own little jiu-jitsu family, kind of like you have yours, Yeah. I think I need it. It's necessary in my life for sure. Yeah. Just to kind of just see what like you have done with this place. It's just like, yeah, that's an inspiration for sure. Yeah.
Nice, man.
It's a real goal.
Nice. Well, looking forward to that day. Keep it up. One foot in front of the other, right?
Yeah, just got to keep going, Yeah, it's just one step at a time. You just got to stay focused. Don't focus on the end. Don't focus on what's behind you. Just focus on what you have ahead of you. Yeah, and that's what I try to teach everybody in jiu-jitsu too. We all have our lump of clay. We are all sculptors. The more time you spend looking at somebody else, the less time you're focused on doing this while that person is focused on their sculpture. Everybody wants to roll like somebody else. Everybody wants to, run their business like somebody else. But like, you're sort of stopping yourself if you're just looking at other people.
You got to do you.
Yeah. And it's cool to have heroes, but if you're looking at somebody else and comparing yourself, then you're not going to focus.
Compare yourself, but you definitely you admire, right? You admire, and I think those people like you emulate. You want to emulate them, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You were mentioning like me and like so it's, I think it just from looking at, not that you're comparing yourself because you're not going to be them. You're going to be you.
Yeah, for sure. But like a lot of people do compare themselves.
Yeah.
Just in a general. That's from what I've learned from teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody kind of looks at their belt and they're just like, meh. But just focus on you. I do what I do because that's what I can do. Focus on what you have, and you can build off of what you do have rather than what you don't have.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you, brother. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for all you do every single day. We're going to keep having fun, right? Every single day. And live every day. Don't take it for granted, right? Like it could be our last, right? Who knows? I
mean, we were facing extinction
a few months ago, right? Yeah. If you listen to the news.
That's why I said, fuck it. I'm going to roll. If I'm going to die, I might as well die doing this.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, man.